What is happening, everybody? So, for this video, I want to chat about a car that gets absolutely no love, but is really one of the more influential pony cars of the modern era. It was the sole flag bearer for the American pony car or muscle car from 2005 until 2008. It introduced us to variable cam technology, and it brought us that retro style and did a fantastic job of bringing the old school flavor back to the American muscle car. That is the 2005 through 2010 4.6 liter 3-valve Mustang. And look, I get it. It's not necessarily a powerhouse from the factory. A lot of enthusiasts look at it with, raised eyebrow. But the reality is that if you've got one of those cars, you've got a lot of things to be proud of and to hold your head up high about that particular platform. First of all, as stated, it brought the real, true, modern retro styling back, or at least to the American buying public. A buying public that had apparently been really yearning for something like that if you judge it by the sales alone. Everybody freaked out and went nuts over that car when it was first released. That S197 platform, it does really set itself apart from its predecessors. It's not only retro style on the exterior, but on the interior as well. And where maybe the SN95 may have had some retro cues, that S197 took it even that much farther. And it is a larger car, rides a little better, more comfortable, more roomy. Better still, it'll hold a 5.4 liter dual overhead cam supercharged engine, and that would be the GT500. One of my all-time favorite cars. So yeah, definitely something to be proud of there. It brought us variable cam technology to the American pony car, and that's a huge deal. That not only does it help with emissions and drivability, but it allows a very broad power band. It gives you better torque down low, and it then gives you better horsepower up top. Really the best of both worlds. And when that car was released, a lot of people were looking at it going, well, why didn't Ford give it the, 4-valve engine? Well, that 4-valve engine that was available for Lincolns, the Terminator Cobra, and, some other high-end platforms, that's a bit more expensive to build. And what Ford did that I thought was really kind of cool at the time is they did put that corporate 4.6 in the Mustang. It keeps the prices low, which means that more folks can afford them. If more folks can afford them, then more folks will be modding them, which helps the aftermarket, helps keep that aftermarket propped up, which is always a good thing. And Ford did all of that at a point in time where they really didn't have to do that. Just remember this, in 2005, the Camaro was already 3 years into its hiatus. The Challenger, well, it wouldn't be released for another 3 years, and although it would really ring in the reintroduction of the American muscle car, it really didn't do much at that time as far as being influential because it just didn't exist. So yeah, the Mustang, because it had no competition, it didn't necessarily have to be as good as it was. The redesign, the variable cam technology, the planning for the GT500 all stemming from that original 3-valve platform, and it was because of the success of that car that we can talk about cars like the GT500, and then later on maybe even the Hellcat, who knows. So when you look at that 3-valve, I understand where enthusiasts are coming from. I mean, you're looking at it from the point of view, well, it's only making about 300 horsepower. Okay, well, keep in mind that it wasn't too far removed from a period of time where that 4.6 liter 4-cam engine was doing well just to make 320. And because of that, 4.6 4-valve not having that variable cam technology, it was kind of known to be a bit of a dog until you got that thing up around 4,000 RPM. The 3-valve didn't suffer from that. It made the same power, but it also had power down low. And yeah, I guess you could make the point that it needed it. I mean, yeah, it's a heavier car than the SN95, but that's really, yeah, it's getting a little bit too detailed, a little too nitpicky. It's a really cool car. And if you're talking about power or making power with a 3-valve, just keep this in mind. They are the corporate 4.6. They're going to be detuned from the factory. Add in an intake, exhaust, a different tune, possibly some cams, and you can take that engine from making, say, 300, 315 horsepower well into the 375 horsepower range. And who knows? Let's say you decided to throw boost at that thing. What a lot of people tend to forget is that that platform really likes boost. You can take a bone stock 3-valve, supercharge it, and go from 300 horsepower to about 425 to about 450 horsepower. So yeah, there's definitely an upside. And really where that 3-valve starts to look good and to, viewed from 2017 is the price point. They're much, much less expensive than their Coyote counterparts. And because of that, it's a good avenue for guys and gals to get into a pony car without really breaking the bank. And if you're really only going after a car for styling, it's a really great place to start. Wheel and tire, drop the thing a little bit with a better suspension setup, and you've got yourself the recipe for a damn good looking car with an exhaust that sounds really nice, because let's face it, that 4.6 is one of the best sounding cars that's ever been released. And you can be a part of that American pony car experience and become an enthusiast through that particular vehicle, literally using that vehicle as a vehicle to become a part of that group or culture. So it's got a lot of upswing. So if you've got one of those 3-valves, I want to show that car some love, and I want to give you guys just my perspective on it. Somebody that is a bit more of a Mopar guy. Well, I wasn't always Mopar all the way because I didn't have Mopars to work on. It was Fords for me. So yeah, I do have an appreciation for that car, and when I see one, I'm not just looking at it as a 3-valve Mustang. I'm looking at it from the perspective, kind of from the viewpoint of history and what that car was able to lead up to as it was being introduced, and with the introduction of the GT500 and just all the fun that I've had and seen with that car, it was due to the fact that that 3-valve did so well. So post up your comments. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear some of your stories with your 3-valves. Myself, I know of quite a few fairly well massaged 3-valve Mustangs that have shown their taillights to a lot of unsuspecting Challengers, Camaros, and Coyote Mustangs over the years. So I bet you've got some stories like that too. Again, I'd love to hear them. And that's a wrap on this. Adios.